Well, he tried to fight it, but resistance was futile. And seeing Trump slap the shit out of Powell yesterday was epic.
Like it's got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
So,
President, are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. But other than that, what can I tell you?
Pure boss move from the lion himself. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Friday. It's payday. And what a beautiful day it is, too. It is July 25, 2025, and I hope you're all having an amazing one. And don't let your hard-earned money slip away. Chapter's team of experts is ready to help you avoid wasting and losing money. Call 270-467-2426 now and join others who've saved an average of over $1,100 by making this smart move. Picture this, folks. My buddy, let's call him, let's say his name is Mike, a hardworking guy just like you, was out there grinding every day, thinking he had his finances locked down. Bills paid, hustle on point. But then, bam, he got hit with a surprise medical bill that drained his savings faster than you can say inflation spike. Sound familiar? It's like the charts those folks on the left tried to spin and mainstream media wanted to delete, thinking we wouldn't notice. Prices soaring under bad policies. Just like that grocery price mess we've all been dealing with. Mike was losing money left and right, caught in the chaos of a system that wasn't looking out for him. But here's the kicker. Mike didn't just sit there and take it. He listened to me about Chapter. A team of absolute pros who know how to navigate this mess and stop your money from slipping through the cracks. And just like our man Trump calling out the real culprits and promising rebates to put cash back in our pockets, Chapter's experts are all about making sure you keep what's yours. Mike called 270-467-2426, and let me tell you, it was a smart move. Those experts dug in, found him better coverage, and helped him save over $1,100 on average, just like thousands of others who made the same smart call. Don't be like those folks who get blindsided by hidden costs or fake news budgets. You're smarter than that. Pick up the phone, dial 270-467-2426, and let Chapter's team help you avoid wasting and losing money. Join the winners who've already saved big and take control today. And I want to tell you another story.
Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high, and no one gives a shit. Just silence.
Hey everybody, let's have a real talk about money specifically what they don't want you to know about how it's changing and how you can save or waste it in this new world order that has already started. There's really no other way to put it, folks. Besides, they've been lying to you for a very long time about what's been happening and what is going to happen next. More than likely based on the trends and what we all in the know have been planning and preparing for. Now, I'm going to keep this conversation short and simple, so just stick with me for a couple of minutes and I'll break it down. First off, let's talk about what's really going on with money. You've probably heard people hype up gold as the ultimate way to protect your wealth. And yeah, gold's great. It's been around forever. Some even call it God's money. But here's the thing. Back in 1933, the U.S. government forced people to hand over their gold to the Federal Reserve. That's right. They made it law. And the Supreme Court backed it up. So there's legal precedent that says it could happen again. Remember, history often repeats itself, sometimes rhymes. And gold isn't as untouchable as some folks think. Then there's cash, stocks, and even Bitcoin. A lot of people think Bitcoin is this anonymous, untraceable way to keep your money private, but no, it's not really. And it's because Bitcoin it's a dumb word.
I don't think it's a real word.
We're gonna make up a whole nother word. Meaning, your name isn't on the wallet, but the government can still track it. Let's just say Bitcoin isn't entirely anonymous. It's actually some other word that I can't even fucking pronounce. The FBI and Department of Justice, DOJ, have seized billions in Bitcoin over the years. That strategic Bitcoin reserve you've heard about? Yeah, built from seized coins. So privacy, not quite what you think. And here's another kicker. The internet itself isn't private either. Shocker, right? Your internet provider, think AT&T or Verizon, logs everything. But you're probably saying, Kevin, what about VPNs? Yeah, they have to log your info too, folks, by law. Even Tor, which sounds super secure, was created by the US Navy, and some say its exit nodes are compromised. So if you're thinking crypto or blockchain is your ticket to total freedom, think again. The system's watching. Always has, always will, really. And now, let's talk about using these assets. Because Bitcoin was meant to be a peer-to-peer cash, or at least a replacement for it. But let's be real, most of us aren't buying coffee with it. It's a speculative investment. Granted, we saw Trump make a transaction on the campaign trail in New York using Bitcoin, but god dog, you saw how much of a hassle that was, right? And getting money in or out of crypto, heavily regulated. The offshore exchanges, mostly gone. Thanks, Sam Bankman-Fried. And if you want to buy crypto with your credit card or bank account, you'll need to verify your identity. Ever heard of KYC compliance? What about stablecoins? The Genius Act passed. They're plugging digital money straight into the banking system, where the government can freeze or seize it programmatically. That sounds worse than CBDC, folks. And odds are it'll happen on a Friday. Remember that? And you guys remember FedNow, right? And that whole expediting of processing, as well as ISO 20022, immediate settlement and rich data capabilities. Yeah. It's been a while since we've had these talks and these conversations, but it's coming full circle now. I hope you guys have been paying attention.
I mean, it makes way more sense that the government did it than some random dude and everybody jumped on it. Everybody
The
buying
government, like, people are scared of CBDC. Then the government tricks them into putting their cash into Bitcoin, which in essence is CBDC.
Well, I mean, everybody's worried about it, but think about everything we do right now. Everything's going through Venmo. Everything's going through Cash App. Everything's going through Zelle. Everything's going through, your pay people are actually using cash or checks. Everything is already digitized. That moving everything over to a CBDC, people are at some point going to be like, man, that's so much easier than trying to have cash in my pocket.
No.
The place we went today, Goldberg's, it said starting in 2 days, they're not going to take cash anymore. It's cashless.
They ran CBDC and they ran BTC or Bitcoin. Everyone rejected CBDC. Everyone loves Bitcoin. They're both the same. Go with the one they love. Yeah. Like, it's that easy.
Yeah, it is.
Go with the one that they think they chose versus the one that they think we're going to force onto them.
Well, it's like, do you want to, if you spend $20, they give you $5 back, or do you want to only spend $15? It's the same thing. But people like that get something back, so they'll spend the 20 to get 5 back versus I only spent 15. It's the mental thing. There's a sale, buy one get one half off. You don't need a second one.
Well, you think you made the choice, but you don't realize you didn't make the choice.
They made it for you.
That's not freedom. It's a new kind of control. Oh, and here's the big one. The big one that they don't want you to know. This whole crypto and blockchain revolution isn't leveling the playing field like some would want you to believe or claim. A 2020 study showed that just 10,000 Bitcoin holders own 28% of all Bitcoin. And what that means for you is that if Bitcoin's price skyrockets, goes to the moon, those 10,000 people could control a huge chunk of global wealth. Way worse than the 1% we talk about today. This isn't democratizing finance. It's creating a new elite. Just being honest. Now, let's zoom out a bit. Bitcoin didn't just appear out of nowhere. It dropped during the 2008 financial crisis, meaning it was in the works before that. Great timing, right? We still don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. And much like the Epstein files or JFK, we never ever will know either. But just ask yourself, why would someone create a fully traceable digital ledger? Was it to empower us or something else? Odds are not the former. And I'm sure you all know how the internet itself started as a U.S. military project to survive a nuclear attack. Did you know that? All right, so what if Bitcoin's following a similar blueprint, but instead for money? Well, here's the deal. While we're all arguing about gold versus crypto, or cash is king, or which coin is the best, the real game is happening behind the scenes. The World Economic Forum has been working on digital identities for years. Central banks are piloting digital currencies, the European Central Bank's deciding on a digital euro this year. The infrastructure is already built and the laws are coming. This is the biggest shift in monetary history, and it's not just about markets going up or down. It's way bigger, much bigger than that. And so, what can you do to avoid wasting money and start saving or even building wealth? Well, for starters, pay attention. The people who got into crypto early are millionaires and billionaires now. The window's closing fast, and you don't have to believe in it, but you do need to act if you want a shot at financial freedom. Sitting on the sidelines could mean that you're stuck playing by old rules in a game that's already changed. I'm not here to give you financial advice, but I'm here to keep you in the know, or at least try to. If you want to stay ahead of these changes, join my community. There's a link down below in the description. I'm sharing live updates, analysis, and even monthly calls for those who want to dive deeper. The first 100 members get in at the current price, so don't wait. Follow the link, join us, and let's navigate this new world together. And I hope to see you there. All right, guys, we got to run through this. And Michelle and I will probably bring in this conversation with you guys a little bit later. This is a little bit impromptu, not necessarily planned, but definitely something that we need to talk about. First up, well, President Trump on Epstein. You ought to be talking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
About Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Do you maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday?
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier.
Breaking. President Trump is now stating that due to the massive amount of money coming in thanks to tariffs on countries, he plans to give it back to the United States citizens in the form of a rebate.
I like it.
Do you think there's the possibility of a rebate to the American public in terms of all of that money?
We're thinking about that, actually. We have so much money coming in, we're thinking about a little rebate, but the big thing we want to do is pay down debt. But we're thinking about a rebate. That's a very good question. You just made a lot of news. We're thinking about a rebate because we have so much money coming in from tariffs that a little rebate for people of a certain income level might be very nice.
Show me the money.
President Donald Trump says he never went to Epstein's island and saying, well, I don't want to talk about that, and this is all fake news according to Raw's alerts.
Well, I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to say is that Todd is a great attorney, but you ought to be speaking about Larry Summers. You ought to be speaking about some of his friends that are hedge fund guys. They're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Do you maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday?
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier. Everything's fake with that administration. Everything's fake with the Democrats. Take a look at what they just found about the dossier. Everything is fake. They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
Right across your...
And Gunther Eagleman says that breaking, President Trump just said that he will be giving out a list of influential people and hedge fund managers who basically live with Epstein.
See a big difference.
Because I just want you to explain to me that Ghislaine Maxwell, is that on the table?
Interview going on. Todd Blanche is a great gentleman. He's a great man. He's a great lawyer. He's got a great heart. But he's over there now. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I certainly can't talk about pardons.
Can you trust what she's telling him? She's a convicted trafficker who's eager to get out of prison.
Well, you know, he's a professional lawyer. I think he He's been through things like this before. But, you know, you should focus on Clinton. You should focus on the president of Harvard, the former president of Harvard. You should focus on some of the hedge fund guys. I'll give you a list. These guys lived with Jeffrey Epstein. I sure as hell didn't. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, should don't be part of the
Quote, you should focus on Clinton.
I was very fortunate that President Clinton introduced me a lot of business leaders in London because he knew I was coming to the Old Vic. Do you know who I never asked for anything? Was Jeffrey Epstein. I didn't want to be around this guy because I felt he put the president at risk on that trip to South Africa because there were these young girls. And we were like, what? Who is this guy? So I will say this.
There were young girls on those flights?
There were young girls on those flights, yeah. And that's been out. They've talked about it. But here's my point. There's a big difference between not remembering that I met some guy and some woman on a humanitarian trip where my focus was entirely on what we were there to do and not remembering whether I went to somebody's island. So I never went to Jeffrey Epstein's island. I did not know him, and I never saw him or her after that morning at Buckingham Palace. He didn't even come to Buckingham Palace.
Is it true that Prince Andrew sought your assistance and wanted you to testify that Ghislaine Maxwell was your guest, not his, during that Buckingham Palace tour?
I heard a report about that, but at no time did anyone ever contact me on his behalf. And as I say, I'm not friends with him. I never saw him after that day.
What do you think about what's happened to him?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to talk about someone else's scandal, you know.
Russia, so they've settled on Carter Page, and in order to get surveillance authority on Page, they had to use the Steele dossier because there was no other credible intelligence.
You should focus on the former president of Harvard. You should focus on some of the hedge fund guys. I'll give you a list. These guys lived with Jeffrey Epstein. I sure as hell didn't. And Midas Touch posts this one, which is rather interesting. July 18, Trump compared to July 2020 or to July 25 Trump, just moments ago.
No, we're not going to let the dollar slide. If we have a smart president, you're never going to let the dollar slide. If you have a dummy, that could happen. Like the last one, he would. If you ever asked him about the dollar sliding, he would have no idea. But we can't let that ever happen again.
Why has the dollar fallen so much, and are you concerned about that?
Well, you know, I'm a person that likes a strong dollar, but a weak dollar makes you a hell of a lot more money. When we have a strong dollar, one thing happens, it sounds good. But you don't do any tourism, you can't sell tractors, you can't sell trucks, you can't sell anything. It is good for inflation, that's about it. It doesn't sound good, but you make a hell of a lot more money with a weaker dollar. Not a weak dollar, but a weaker dollar than you do with a strong dollar.
I don't know what the fuck this is with Hillary Clinton just having a psycho-emotional meltdown. Or maybe the drugs wore off on one or the other. They said that she was tranquilized after that, I think.
Oh, I was going to say maybe it has something to do with how many times her husband went to Epstein Island.
And here we go, more liberal meltdowns. And this one here says a liberal has a meltdown after receiving money from a bank stamped with an arrow pointing to the White House in the words, Donald Trump lives here.
I'm sorry. Why don't I just go to the bank to get some cash out and I have like 5 20s with a stamp on it that says Donald Trump lives here? It scared me so damn bad, I had to Google it. Apparently it's a stamp that Trump supporters use and put on money. They've been doing this since 2018. I'm so pissed right now. I don't want this on my money. I'm about to spend the fuck out of these. I don't want that. Like, everything those people do is so deranged. Why are you messing with currency? Isn't that illegal, like, for them to do that? And then why does the bank... I don't have any words.
If this liberal's melting down over this, how do you think they reacted when they saw Biden on gas pumps saying, I did that? And Nick Sorter says, LMAO, a reporter just asked Trump at the Federal Reserve, as a real estate developer, what would you do with the project manager with the over budget? And Trump says, I'd fire him.
Developer, as a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
Generally speaking, what would I do? I'd fire him.
Do you think this issue, Mr. President, gives you cause to do that?
Well, I'm here just really with the chairman. He's showing us around, showing us the work. And so I don't want to get that. I don't want to be personal. I just would like to see it get finished. And in many ways, it's too bad it started. But it did start. And it's been under construction for a long time. It's going to be a real long time because it looks like it's got a long way to go. Yes, sir. So,
Powell looks super uncomfortable. And after some minor technical issues with whatever the fuck's going on with my MacBook here, we see Robbie Starbucks says, amazing, the Democrats deleted this post 4 hours later when they realized that the chart actually showed how inflation went crazy and prices hit record highs when Biden was in office. The DNC just proved Biden caused all the inflation. LOL, Democrats delete their own post because it showed Biden caused inflation in groceries. Screenshots are forever. They told us the dossier is real. They told us the laptop wasn't real. No inflation during Biden. And they tell us Joe Biden's just fine when we could all see it with our own eyes. Jim Jordan.
I knew Klain back in the 90s. He's a very sharp lawyer. We were both young lawyers at the same time in D.C. But your colleague said he was, forthcoming. Tell us about it.
And I was I wasn't able to be at today's deposition. I had other responsibilities on Capitol Hill. But I was a little surprised because everyone else had exercised some kind of privilege. I figured he would too, being, the former chief of staff. But he came in and answered questions. I still think the big takeaway here is the media tried to tell us forever. The left tried to tell us forever that Joe Biden was just fine. I mean, and this is typical of the left. They told us that, Catholics are terrorists. They told us the dossier is real. They told us the laptop wasn't real. And
no inflation. No inflation during Biden.
And they tell us Joe Biden's just fine when we could all see it with our own eyes. And maybe what was worse is you had people like Jake Tapper say he's just fine, and if you criticized him, oh my goodness, look what they did to Laura Trump. I mean, what he said to her. And then, of course, after it's all done and they've lied to us for 4 years, he writes a book saying, oh, you know what, he really wasn't okay. And he makes money off of that. So
that's so typical DC,
that's
though,
so
isn't it?
typical.
Yeah.
I always say the left has a template. The left tells a lie. Big media reports the lie. Big tech amplifies the lie. And then when you tell the truth, they call you a racist. Or they'll call you some other name. They'll attack you.
Or they say, and we're going to get to this in a bit, that's old news. That's the next thing they do. That's old news.
Once it's like so obvious that they had been lying to you, they said that's old news.
Democrats released a chart titled Trump's America, a social media aimed at embarrassing Trump, but it backfired spectacularly, and they tried to delete it, but not quick enough. It shows the disastrous rise in inflation and grocery prices under the Biden administration. What an epic fail. That's going to do it for me on this video today, or at least us, partner in crime over there. I'm going to be doing more videos, and better yet, we're going to be having deeper dives and more discussions and conversations for those of you who are interested in not only the future of money, but more importantly, YouTube. How to get started, how to make videos, how to stay consistent, how to turn these videos into money, or whatever it may be. I'm going to be offering that for those who join the community. There's links down below in the description. I look forward to seeing you guys over there.